Welcome back to the Abundant Health Transformation event. We're trying to reverse our age. We're creating abundant health that's going to ultimately reverse our biological age, right? We can't do anything about a chronological age, but we certainly can do something about our biological age. So today we're talking about going from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. Okay, and so in this session, we're going to discuss how to go from that fixed mindset and get into that growth mindset that will flip the switch. That will flip the switch that will have you create an abundant health easily and effortlessly. And right now you might think, oh my gosh, I got this huge mountain to climb. And you don't understand, I've got all this stuff that I have to deal with. But what I want to get you to by the end of today is it's not a big mountain. It's not this big mountain that we envision that we have to climb, but it's a bunch of little molehills, right? A bunch of little molehills that we're just going to tackle one at a time. So that's my intention for you today. And so once you start looking at health differently, you will realize quickly just how we've been making it so complicated, right? We make it so complicated. And there's really two things. And I got this from Tony Robbins. There's really two things, and he talks about this all the time, to flip that switch, to change your outcome. And the first thing is physiology, the way we present our body, right? Physiology is just your body. And so I just want you to do an exercise with me so I can demonstrate this idea with you. But I just want you to kind of bring your shoulders in. So you bring your shoulders rounded in, cross your arms over your chest and just look down to the ground and just sit there. And what comes up for you as far as, how you feel right now when you're sitting in that posture? And if you want, just put something in the quotes, in the chat there, what that makes you feel like. Okay. Now I want you to do this movement. I want you to open up your chest. Open up your chest. Bring your shoulders back. You have your shoulder blades in the back. If you pretend my hands are your shoulder blades, you're gonna just depress them and squeeze in the back. Open up your shoulders. Reach up towards the ceiling. And, you could say, yes. And how does that feel within your body? Go ahead. If you want, put it in the chat. What was the before and after feeling? What did you feel when you're closed in? And what did you feel when you opened up? They actually did a study. Harvard did a study on this phenomena, and they called it, what they call it, the posture, the power postures. And what they found was when they took a group of people and they had them do all these power postures, and then they had them do, kind of like more of a depressed posture, like the second group of people. And what they found was that testosterone increased by 20% in the people that were doing those power positions. And that didn't matter if you're female or male, the testosterone was increasing, right? And then they also found that the cortisol decreased by 22%. And cortisol is our stress hormone, right? It's a stress hormone. So that decreased by 22%. And they found that you were 33% more likely to take action when you're in a power position. So I'm just going to check in on the chats. Contracted versus expanded. Exactly. And don't you think that you can create more when you're in that expanded space, right? When you're contracted, you're closed in, you're not open to anything. And Patricia said, I felt taller. I felt taller. Yes, you feel more confident, more powerful, right? So it's a pretty cool demonstration that how our body and how we carry our body can dictate our actions. So the first one is physiology. The second one he talks about is focus. Focus, focus, focus. Focus on a positive state. Focus in a positive state, right? So change your focus. Think of something that you are really proud of. Now just take a moment, just think of something you're really proud of. You're so proud of yourself for being able to accomplish it. Just close your eyes and just get that feeling of when you felt really proud. And just get into that moment for a second. Just get in that moment. Okay, and open your eyes. And don't you feel like, doesn't it just change your whole, feeling, your whole physiology? When you think of, all these good things that are happening in our life, we tend to not pay attention to them. So really focusing on positive states can really change your course of action. And the thing is, humans can do amazing things, right? We've done such amazing things, but the problem is, we get into our emotions. We get into our emotional states of being depressed or anxious or stressed or whatever, and it pulls us down, right? We have the ability to do incredible stuff, but our emotions get in the way. And so I'm going to ask you this question. Do you often try new things and push yourself into uncharted territory? You can just answer to yourself, right? Do you do that? Or do you tend to stick with what you know? What's comfortable? What's comfortable? And what your answer is to this question will reveal your mindset. It really will reveal what you're thinking, how you think, whether you're in a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset, right? And so going from that fixed to growth mindset is a lot easier than we might think. But the thing is, fear gets us stuck. Fear of different things, fear of success, fear of failure, fear of somebody judging me. It keeps us stuck. And, I hear this one all the time. I'm too old. I'm too old to do that. I'm too old to be able to climb up the stairs without pain. It's just the fact of life. That's just what, it is what it is. And when we succumb to that, if that's what we're focusing on, guess what? That's what we're going to attract into our life. We're going to attract things that are going to make us more old. We're going to get more pain in our body. If we're always focusing on the pain that we have, instead of saying, okay, this is what I can do. This is what I can do. So let's focus on that and doing the things I can do. And when you don't focus on the pain, guess what? Your pain often will subside. Right. And, all of this takes time, it takes effort, it takes deliberate practice, but it's not hard. Right. When I say it takes time, because it's not something you're going to do from 0 to 100. You're not going to make this big, huge transformation right away. But if you make these little bits of change, these little molehills and knock one off at a time, and you put that effort in every day to focus on something that you can do to improve your health and make a deliberate practice to do so, you will make change, right? You will make change. And if you, we're a very impatient society. That's the problem. We always want to go from 0 to 100 really quick, but Rome wasn't built in a day. So making those changes one at a time is so important and more rewarding, because we're going for permanent change. We're going for, once we make these changes and they're ingrained in our neurology, then we're no longer having to think about them. They're part of our patterning. So yeah, it might seem hard right now, but as you knock one of these off and you start living a healthier persona, it's not going to be hard. My sister sent me a picture yesterday, and I wanted to just share it with you guys today because I thought it was so perfect for what we're talking about. So I'm just going to share my screen here. And so we have a choice, right? We can be in the lineup that's lifestyle change, or we can be in the lineup for pills and surgery, right? We always want to go for that quick fix. Like, okay, give me a pill that's going to fix my problem, or let me do some surgery to get rid of certain things or to fix something. But and you notice most people go for the pills and the surgery. But the problem is when we go that route, we often create more issues, right? A lot of drugs, they have side effects. So if we're, taking a pill for, to bring down our blood pressure, we're creating other problems in our body, and we're not getting to the root cause. We're not getting to the root cause of what the problem is. If we get to the root cause of the problem and we do what is needed to fix it, then we don't have that problem anymore. It's not a problem, right? So I thought that was a perfect representation of our different mindsets. So when you're in that pills and surgery lineup, you're in that fixed mindset. But when you're in the lifestyle lineup, you're in the growth, the growth. Awesome. Okay. Let me get back. Okay, so the thing is, if you keep doing the things that you're doing and stay in that fixed mindset, you may have a life of pain and discomfort and disease, and it may be shortened. I mean, that's the unfortunate reality. So unfortunate reality. So taking that proactive stance instead of being reactive all the time, put in a Band-Aid on the problem. Instead of looking at it as a problem, looking at it as an opportunity to do something different to make it better, right? And so the way I look at health is what way I want to live my health and live into my golden years is to have a straight line pretty much all through my years. And then when it comes to end life, then it's a big decline, right? So that decline is maybe 2 weeks. That's the number I have in my head. It might be different for you guys, but you want it to be, relatively quick. You don't want to be in a life of pain and suffering and have a gradual decline, right, to end life. That's not in my mind a pleasant way to live my golden years. I worked too hard all these years to get to where I am, that I don't want my golden years to be, pain and suffering. I want to enjoy, I want to travel, I want to, hang out with my grandchildren. I want to do all these things. So that's where we have the choice. We have the choice for change, and we're 100% in control of our choices. We're 100% responsibility for the choices that we make, right? So we want to adopt the identity of that healthy person, going from that fixed mindset to a growth mindset, creating the identity of someone who is healthy, who does healthy things on autopilot, right? By default, because we want to program it into our neurology, as I said. But we're doing this at a gentle pace that will nurture and not hinder the process, right? We want to be gentle to ourselves. Whenever we create resistance, that's not what our body needs at the time. So always checking in to see, is there any sort of resistance? Because if there is, then you're not ready for it yet. or you have to change the way you're looking at it. But so always do it in a very gentle way, nurturing way that makes right for you at the time, at that particular time, right? Okay, so I wanted to do another demonstration with you. So if you play with me for a bit, I'm just going to have you sit comfortably in your chair. And I just want you to, sit comfortably and close your eyes, gently close your eyes. Okay. And I want you to imagine that you're in your kitchen. You're in your kitchen and you notice who is around you. Who's around you? Are your pets around you if you have pets? And just visualize yourself standing at the counter. So sitting on the counter is a large bowl of bright yellow lemons. They look so big and juicy. And you can already start to smell all the aromas. And you're inhaling those beautiful scents. And you take a deep breath through your nose now and just smell all those aromas. Right? Smell all those aromas. And I want you to take one of those lemons and grab the cutting board that's sitting right beside you. Go into your cupboard, your drawer, and grab a knife. And I want you to slice that lemon in half. And the aromas, they get even more intense. They're so juicy. And notice, I want you to cut that half a lemon again and just cut it into a quarter now. And take that quarter of a lemon and bring it up to your nose. Can you smell those aromas? Now, there's a glass of water sitting right on the counter beside you. Take that lemon and just squeeze that lemon into the water. The flavors are getting so intense. Your mouth is puckering up. And it tastes so good. Okay, I want you to come back to the room now and gently open your eyes. And just put in the chat what physiology, any changes you had, what you experienced through that whole process. This is a really good example of how powerful our mind is. How powerful our mind is. And most people, they'll start salivating, right? They'll start salivating. Patricia said, lemon represents cleansing and healing. Good. If that's the case for you, then use this as an imagery to get you into that space, right? Space of healing. Awesome. So most people will start salivating, and that's a physiological response. There's no lemon there. You're imagining it, and your mind is creating the situation, and it's responding to that situation, even though it's not real. So it's an amazing demonstration of how powerful the mind is. So if we focus on what we want, we will be able to attract it a lot easier into our life. So did anybody start to salivate during that experience? Just put in the chat, I'd love to hear that. Okay. So the key to shifting our perspective so that we move into the middle age years and beyond with grace is really threefold. Acknowledgement, acceptance, and engagement. Engagement in meaningful activities. Yes, Alan said yes. She celebrated through that process. Good job. It's amazing how powerful our bodies are. And so acceptance, the first one, acceptance. Accept the aging process, right? Just accept the aging process, because we can't change our chronological age. You know, it's the circle of life. You know, we all have to go through it. So when we focus on age, it really puts us into that. And if we focus on age in a negative way, it really puts us into that low vibration moment, or sorry, low vibration state where you can't be vibrant from, you can't be excited about life. So accepting the aging process is number one, because we can't stop it. But we can change the quality of life that we have, right? That we have control over. That's where we can change our biological age, right? And we tend to come from a place of lack opposed to a place of fulfillment. You know, you saying, I'm too old, I can't do that, right? It's a place of lack. Instead of focusing on what you can do, instead of focusing on all your ailments, focus on what you want instead, right? And so if you have knee problems right now and you can barely get up off the ground, then don't focus on that. Don't focus on that. Focus on what you want. So maybe one day you want to be able to walk in the forest again and not have pain in your knees. So you're focusing on you walking in the forest. That's what you're focusing for. So our GPS can go towards that, right? We need somewhere to navigate towards. And listen to what you're saying to yourself about aging and reframe it, right? Reframe it. Reframe those negative thoughts into positive thoughts. And reframing is just basically a technique that takes an issue or a problem or a view and deliberately takes a different perspective. So deliberately taking that positive perspective instead of focusing on the negative part of it. Okay. And really pay attention to what you're saying when you're looking in the mirror. What are you saying to yourself? You know, I look back now and I didn't realize at the time that I did this, but I never looked at myself in the mirror because I was so disgusted with myself and I didn't like what I saw at this other side. And so I would go to the washroom and I would go to the sink, wash my hands, looking down at the sink, and I wouldn't even look up in the mirror to check to see, you know, is my hair okay? Am my clothing okay? I never looked in the mirror because I was so ashamed of myself. And so that's pretty powerful. It's pretty powerful. If that's your image of yourself, then that can really dictate how you show up and what your life is going to be like, right? And so when you look in the mirror, even if you want to lose 10 more pounds, be okay with what you look like now, right? Be okay now with what you look like. And the words coming out of your mouth should be something like, yeah, I look pretty sexy now. And I'm going to even look more sexy once I lose another 10 pounds. And so when we're talking to ourselves that way, we're not blaming, shaming, making ourselves feel wrong for being 10 pounds heavier, but rather we're accepting where we're at right now and still have our GPS going to that ultimate goal. So acceptance creates a space for enjoyment and optimism. And we're aging, but we can still feel great. We can look great and we can still be sexy, right? And when we take on a healthy identity, we automatically slow down the aging process. We get fewer wrinkles, you get clearer skin, you start glowing, your mobility is so much better, you laugh, you're just a positive person and you're fun to be around because you are positive, right? You are positive, you're not a negative downer, right? And so that's where we want to get to create this identity of a healthy person. And so that's the first one. Accept, right? Accept the aging process. So, and then the second one is acknowledgement for what you're grateful for, right? Bring attention to what you're grateful for. Create a great gratitude journal. It's a very powerful exercise. Every morning, every night, just write in it, even 3 things. What am I grateful for today, right? I'm so grateful for my daughter. She's grown up into this vibrant, energetic woman I'm so proud of. I went on a humanitarian trip to Tanzania a couple years ago, which was super amazing. But just getting clean, fresh water, the challenges that they have, they can't find clean, fresh water. The water that they drink is so contaminated. The water that they cook their meals in is so contaminated. And so just waking up, saying, I'm so grateful I can go to the tap and get myself an ice cold glass of water, right? So being grateful for all of these things that we don't really pay attention to, because we tend to focus on things that aren't going well. Okay, and then the third one is engage in meaningful activities, right? Meaningful activities that are going to keep you active and healthy, that boost your energy and keep us flexible and limber, right? And then create that bucket list. Create that bucket list and start to ping off those items and start doing what lights your fire. If you want to learn how to do art, then join that art class. If you want to write a book, what are you waiting for, right? What are you waiting for? Why not start that book today? And, if you want to learn a new skill, learn that skill. If you want to do more gardening, do that. So why are we waiting to do the things that, are really going to light our fire? And so I really look at having this abundant health, having this identity of somebody who just is healthy, has 4 components, 4 big components: movement, rejuvenation, nutrition, and mindset, right? If you have balance in those, then you're going to be living a healthy life. So movement, what do I mean by movement? I don't mean going to the gym, pumping iron, going crazy, something that you'll do for maybe a week and then you throw up your hands and you say, no, that's not for me. That's too much. If that's what you want to do, that's perfectly fine. But if you're forcing it because you think you should do it, because media is telling you this is what you need to do to get healthy, then that's not for you. But picking stuff that is going to get you moving, and get you moving often. And so that's when you look for your, what excites you. So is it, is it going to a yoga class that excites you? Maybe you want to go to a yoga class with a bunch of people, or is it going to a retreat where you're being very active, or is it doing an event, where you're doing a bunch of outdoor activities? What does it mean? So that's what I mean by movement, doing things that are in alignment to what you enjoy doing, that are moving the body. And part of moving the body is being able to move your body in functional ways. And if we can start to move our body in functional ways, that's going to help us reverse our biological clock. Okay, that's going to help us reverse the biological clock. And so what do I mean by functional movements? It's, being able to get up and down from the floor easily, right? Just get up and down from the floor easily. It is a great indicator of your biological age in comparison to your chronological age. And I put together a video yesterday that I'm just going to share with you now. Oh, there it is. What I mean by functionality. So I'll just, I'll play that video now. Okay, we're going to try this now. Can you see it now?
Yep, got it.
So one of the best ways that I find that you can test your functionality is how well you get up and down from the ground, right? You see some people that, you know, they're down on the ground and they're having to hold on to things and push themselves up. And so if that's you, we need to talk, because we need to get you to some place where you're able to get up and down relatively quickly, right? So that's a really good indication. So if I'm sitting here, I'm getting down without my hands and getting down, sitting down into the seat, right? And then I try to get up from here. I can't do it completely with no hands, but you want to basically try to get up with as little effort as possible. I'm still working to be able to do it perfectly with no hands, but to give you an idea that being able to do that with very little effort really can test your functionality. But if you have a chair or you're down on the ground, right, and then you kind of have to go over here, and then you have to come up here, and it's very slow, and sometimes you need to have a chair to even push yourself back up. If that's where you're at, that kind of functionality will age you more quickly. Now, obviously, it depends on where you are at your chronological age. If you're 70, 80-year-old, yeah, I wouldn't expect you to be able to get up really quickly. But if you're a 50-year-old, 60-year-old, you should be able to get up really, really quickly. So that is one of the best tests that I have to really show how functional you are, how quick you can get up and down from the floor. So I hope you enjoyed that, and we will see you next time. Okay. What did you think of that?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Next we'll be walking on tight ropes.
Yeah. So it's so important to be able to move in the different planes, right? In the different planes, you know, forward plane, backward plane, the side plane. And so very, very important to practice that kind of getting up and down. And even if you are older, just even if you have to get up on your knees and push yourself up, trying to do it, like practicing it and trying to do it better and better with less and less assistance will get you more functionality. Okay. And you know, I'm able to do that today, but 6 years ago, I could barely walk upstairs. My knees were so bad that I had to walk up sideways up the stairs. And so if I was to 6 years ago say, you know what, I'm getting old, I'm almost 50, I'm getting old, you know, I'm succumbing to this is just the way it is. My knees are shot. The doctor says I'm getting arthritis. He was wrong, by the way. And just gave up, I wouldn't be where I am today, right? So that's what I'm trying to say. Don't succumb to your injuries. See, okay, this is what I'm dealing with right now, but what can I do to progress forward? What can I do? And then the second thing is the rejuvenation. Rejuvenation is so important to our well-being. And we're such a busy society. We don't take the time to rejuvenate our bodies. And, there's so many of us, especially in our 50s and 60s, 70s and 80s, we don't sleep very well. And sleep is so critical to our well-being. It's when our bodies repair itself, right? And it's when our brains, like toxins from our brain that builds up during the day, they get released. So it's very important to get a high quality sleep to rejuvenate your body properly. And more is not better as well, right? But it's a high quality sleep. And most people sleep between 7 and 9 hours. But if people, I remember having a night's sleep, or I'd often have these night sleeps where I would sleep for 8 hours and I wake up and I feel like I was being hit by a truck. I don't know if you guys have had that experience, but I just felt like, oh my God, I feel so groggy. I can't believe it. Like it's morning already. And my husband would say, what's wrong with you? You had your 8 hours sleep, but I didn't have a quality sleep in those 8 hours. So it really is important to have high quality sleep during your 8 hours or 9 hours, 7 hours, whatever you're sleeping, whatever your biology needs, right? And you always listen to your biology, right? Always listen to your body. And meditation is another great way to rejuvenate yourself because it calms down the nervous system, right? It calms it down so that you can deal with obstacles and challenges through the day in a more cool, calm, collected manner. So it's a practice I never did before a couple of years ago, but it's really empowered me and changed my life, to really do some, meditation every day. I do a meditation every day, and I get antsy if I miss it because my body craves it, right? It craves it. Or you can rejuvenate in other ways with yoga, gentle stretching, nature walks, even just grabbing a glass of water. If you feel a little bit low, just grab a glass of water. It will energize you again. It will rejuvenate your body. Doing a massage, forest bathing, these are all great ways to rejuvenate your body. And rejuvenating it frequently is so critical. And as I said, we're such a busy society that we're just going all the time, that we don't check in with our body and say, what, my body needs more rest right now. My body needs to go for a walk, and just checking in and seeing what does it need at this moment in time. And then the next one was nutrition. Nutrition, fueling your body. We talked about this yesterday, fueling your body with high nutrient dense foods, right? And using that 80-20 Pareto principle of eating one ingredient foods. You can't go wrong if you're eating one ingredient foods and you're controlling what's going into your food. But I'm not suggesting that you eat vegetables that make you want to gag, give you that yuck effect, because that's creating resistance to your body. You want to pick things that you enjoy eating. Healthy foods that you enjoy eating. And you can introduce a new food every once in a while and you still have that yuck effect, say, okay, I'm not ready for that yet. Or find ways that you can get healthy foods into your diet easily, like in a smoothie. You can hide green vegetables very easily in a smoothie. So just being creative of how you can eat healthy, high nutrient dense foods without the yuck effect. Okay, and then mindsets of the last one. Just start, like, as I said, to change that mindset, just taking one molehill at a time, right? Start with one change right now, and then get that working for you, and then go on to the next one. We're impatient and we want we want to go from that 0 to 100. I keep saying this, but to create real health, because if that worked for you in the past, you wouldn't be here still searching for health, right? So the thing is, we want to do this right. We want to do it right this time. It's going to take time to ingrain it into our neurology. So be patient with the process. And the key is to start thinking like a healthy person. Just start thinking. So you might open up the cupboard and you say, ask yourself, what would a healthy person pick right now? And say, that's what I'm going to pick. Or, when a healthy person feels stressed, would they sit on the couch and eat bonbons? Probably not. They would probably go for a walk to de-stress, or they might do some meditation or go to a yoga class. And the thing is, you want to create a life, and that's why it's so important. Like the first day I asked you, what is abundant health for you? And write it down and get very clear on what abundant health means for you, because then you can design your life around what is important to you, right? And if movement means spending time with friends, moving your body when you're spending time with friends, maybe going to a dance class, or something that lights your fire, that you enjoy doing, that doesn't feel like work. Because as soon as it starts to feel like work, then we start to not want to do it. It's like, oh, I don't feel like doing that right now. Or, you always find excuses to why you can't do it. And so moving your body in ways that's fun for you. And not to say that you don't need strength training and you don't need to do some sort of cardio as a regular thing to keep healthy, but you don't have to do a lot of it. You could do 20 minutes 3 times a week. That would be sufficient if you're doing the right exercises, right? If you're doing the exercises in the right way, then you can do it very condensed. And you need the strength training to improve your bone density, to increase your bone density, right? So we don't break our bones easily. And we need it for muscle strength, right? To protect our joints. So we do need, I'm not saying that you don't need that, but you don't need to go to the gym for an hour. You don't need to pump iron and do some crazy thing for an hour. You can do something very simplistic that is just as effective in 20 minutes. In 20 minutes, 3 times a week, right? So for homework tonight, I want you to try that functionality test. Get down, maybe not the exact way I did it, but getting down on the ground and see how quickly you can get up and how elegantly you can get up, right? And if you need to hold on to things, or you need to, push off your leg, or, what assistance are you needing? And just pay attention to that, because I think it's very important to be able to do these functional movements to keep us young. Okay, so just to summarize what we talked about today, once you start looking at health differently, you will realize quickly how you've been making it so complicated, right? It's really not that complicated. And the 2 things to really affect your outcome, to really make change, is paying attention to your physiology, creating those power positions. Posture, I forgot to talk about posture, but posture is so important as we age. Have you seen people that, they've got that kyphosis, that curved upper back, and it just ages them, doesn't it? It just ages it. And not only does it age them, it decreases their mobility. So posture is so critical to pay attention to. So always open up your chest, right? And in the course that I offer, this is what we do. We really concentrate on posture movements, strengthening the posture so that you're strong and you're carrying your body well, and you're not going to get that forward lean, right? And just face it, when somebody has good posture, don't they look more confident? They look like they have more power, right? They can conquer the world. And you feel like that when you have good posture. You feel like I've got this, I can do this. So very, very important. And so physiology and focus, those are so important. Paying attention to your physiology, how are you presenting yourself, changing that and changing your focus to create something that's going to be good in your life. And then nurture the 4 areas that we talked about: the movement, the rejuvenation, your nutrition, and mindset. Make sure you're nurturing those areas and balancing them all out, because you can't have one without the other. We've tried that cookie cutter philosophy, like, oh, I need to lose weight. Okay, I'm going to the gym. Oh, I need to lose weight. Oh, I'm going to go on this crazy diet. Cookie cutter doesn't work. We need balance in all areas. And go at your own pace, right? This is not a race. It's your journey. So speed up for it when it makes sense to you, and tackle those molehills one at a time. So I'm just going to open it up now to questions, comments, insights, anything that came up today. Go ahead and put it in the chat. Okay. Good. You can come off mute too, if you just want to talk instead of write.
Yeah, I have a problem with arthritis. So that does give me a problem getting up from the floor.
Yeah.
Because it's feet and it's in my hands. Both areas that are essential to getting up easily.
Right. And if that's the case, you can try to strengthen your muscles around the joints to help take the pressure off the joints, right? So doing something like maybe even a wall sit, where you're not going deep into the wall sit unless your body can handle it, but going as deep just before you feel pain and strengthening those muscles. And as they get stronger and stronger, you can go deeper and deeper into that squat. But that, when we can take some of that pressure off the joint, when we're using muscles more so than our joints for the movements, it will help.
Okay. I will try that. Thank you.
You're welcome. But if we succumb to saying, I have arthritis, therefore I can't do, then you won't be able to do. Our bodies have an amazing innate ability to heal itself. And our mind is so powerful, as you saw with the lemon demonstration, to create and to create what you want. So if you focus on that, you can do certain things with your knees and your wrists, then you'll be able to do it, right? The worst thing you can do is not use your wrists and your knees, because that will get you more and more, it will make it worse and worse, right? So when we have arthritis, we should be trying to move our joints as best as possible, and still be mindful if there's pain or inflammation, but trying to reduce that inflammation as much as possible. And we can reduce that inflammation in other ways too, because sometimes the inflammation might be coming from stress. And so it's just that your knees and your wrists are weak right now. So our bodies will go to the area of least resistance. And so that's where your inflammation will reside. So even just improving your nutrition, improving your stress levels, if you're under a lot of stress, can actually make the joints work better, reduce that inflammation.
Okay.